Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers on the broadcast today. He's the partner broker with the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. He's a Story County Commissioner, and he owns the Mustang Ranch brothel. Lance Gilman here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
Nevada Newsmakers Studio is located at the headquarters of the Nevada Trucking Association. Motion and purpose are a truck's greatest virtue.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are delighted to welcome back to the program Lance Gilman. He is partner broker for the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. He's also a Story County Commissioner. And in addition to that, he owns the Mustang Ranch. But apart from that, he has a very slow life. Pleasure to have you back. Very good to see you, my friend. So let's start out. And I know that there are some areas that you can't talk about. So I'll ask the question, and then you have to tell me whether you're able to answer or not. So is the whole smart city concept taking a chunk of Story County, is that dead, do you believe, at this point in time?
I really don't have a comment on if it's dead or not. It's certainly been slowed down dramatically. I think Jeff has made the decision to withdraw from the committee. I don't know that the committee had been disbanded at this point or that there's some reason they might continue that. But I believe that at this point in time, I'm convinced that Jeff has moved on.
All right.
Mr. Burns.
So the question then, and he's the owner of Blockchains, for those not familiar. So he had said in published reports that if he didn't get what he wanted as far as that smart city concept, including the governance portion of it for that chunk of Story County, that he would end up selling his land holdings in Nevada and move on. Do you have any indication, or can you talk about that to say whether he's doing any of that or not?
Well, yes, I believe that I can tell you that he is. I have met with some of his administrative folks, and they appear to be moving towards some form of a real estate development plan. Now, what that entails, what it looks like, Sam, I really have no idea, but I can tell you that I have had contact with some of the folks that are looking at a real estate development plan at this point. I don't know if anything's come together, and certainly that's not part of my business at this point. However, there is something happening, yes.
All right. Then the next thing is concerning Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. You just put together a major sale that came off in the last week or so. Can you share with us who the company is and how much acreage you sold there?
Yes, you certainly can. And probably, Sam, this is a very, very exciting company. It's I'm delighted that the industry has found Nevada. But the name of this corporation is Nano. Nanotechnology. nanotechnology environment, I believe. But at any rate, it's a nanotechnology company. They purchased 515 acres. They're in the process today, if you and I visited out there, in grading a huge pad. My understanding is, based upon the groundbreaking we had the other day, that they're looking at 4 different buildings in 4 different locations, each one focused on nanotechnology products. And of course, we know that that nanotechnology can be military, it can be consumer grade products. It's one of the most exciting products in the future of the world today. It's 10 times stronger than steel. It's a molecular restructuring of graphene, which is a derivative of graphite, which is pencil lead. And it's truly an incredible product. So having that research and development here, and they're actually dealing with products today, is incredible for us, for Northern Nevada.
So the growth continues. One of the things that you and I have talked about is the need to widen I-80 because of the traffic backups coming in and out of TRI. And in the past, we've talked about that if you try to widen I-80, you would have to blast off part of the mountainside, and that would make it prohibitive. But Lee Gibson, who's the former Washoe County RTC chief, said on the program that there are ways to widen it without having to go to that extreme measure. But the city of Sparks wants to develop their road going into Sparks directly from TRI ahead of anything that would happen on I-80. Your thoughts on that?
So I have the pleasure of working with Ed Lawson, who's the mayor over there of Sparks, and he's such a qualified individual. And we're looking at what we call the La Posada extension. And the La Posada would come out of Sparks. It would go up in the hills to the east. It would wind through there, kind of a big valley area, actually pretty developable. We've been looking at that. And they would drop down and tie into the Patrick interchange right there by where Apple is located. It's possible. I think they'd like to take it on over to USA Parkway. I'm not sure if that's as practical or not, but because I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 70% of the employees that are out at Tesla and Panasonic today are north of I-80, it would have a dramatic impact and lessen the traffic, if you would. You know, the thing that I'll just comment on I-80, I know there are a number of opportunities with I-80, but you know, Sam, I was here, as you well were, when they built that ring road around Pleasant Valley down to Carson City. And that included some incredible bridges and the blasting of that entire roadway. So along a similar set of hills and mountains. So can it be done? Absolutely. And we've seen it right here in our market.
One of the other topics, I want to cover a lot of ground with you today. One of the other topics that's come up a lot in the program recently is the area of growth in the Reno-Sparks area. And I always felt that it would be air quality that would be the limiting factor for Washoe County in terms of growth. But in fact, that has been mitigated to a great deal. But now the bigger issue is the sewer plant for Reno-Sparks. Now, you've got a pipeline that is going from the sewer plant to bring gray water up to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. Is that going to help extend the life of the sewer plant, or what do you know about the need to expand that sewer plant?
So, Sam, I'm going to kind of wade off into the weeds a little bit, but a really exciting conversation. When we were doing the groundbreaking there on the nanotechnology, one of the things I asked, and we've been entertaining this for a number of years now, is they have an ability to develop a membrane that is capable of cleaning any type of foul water into a drinking water standard, and that is technology based. And I had a question out there at the groundbreaking of the principals, and is that in the future? And as a matter of fact, one of the R&D facilities that's coming in are looking at that very process. So one of the things you and I could look at in the future, and I have no idea whether it's a week, a month, or 10 years, but there is a product coming that could clean all of the Truckee Reno sewer treatment plant water prior to going into the river and even to a usable standard. Now, wouldn't that be interesting in our market? In the meantime, one of the key reasons that Reno Sparks elected to join us in this pipeline program is they were being fined for dropping water into the Truckee River that was, I have to think of the product here in a minute, but at any rate, we've been able to remove that water, take it south, put it in the lake, mix it with a lot of other water, and it's no longer a problem as far as everybody's concerned. So that was a serious, critical reason why the water was moved. Will it relieve some of the impacts on the sewer treatment plant? Absolutely, and of course, we're going to be taking 2,000 acre feet outfall coming out of that. And if you've been out and looked at the I'm going to call it the lake now, it's incredible. It's almost finished. Very deeply dug. It's all lined like a huge bathtub. It's huge. And we're in the process now of installing the pumps so we can move the water. One of the things that folks don't realize is out at TRI, Mr. Norman was farsighted enough that all of the arterials, all the roadways, 300 miles of asphalt include a purple pipe system with a pumping probability whereby we can take that water and circulate it throughout the park for manufacturing processes. That's already installed. The easements are there, the pipe is in the ground. So with the lake going in and the pumps now being installed, we're able to send that water to Google or Switch or any matter of other manufacturing process.
You know, it's an intriguing thought, but with companies like Google, Switch, Apple, and the list goes on, is there any discussion at all about joining together on a project between all these companies as they're all co-located in this area?
Well, that's a fun question. And I think maybe you've got your crystal ball there on the desk with you. But as a matter of fact, Roger, TRI, and I donated 12 acres in a strategic location there within TRI. And I can tell you that several of those companies have a joint venture, and they're looking right now at installing a state-of-the-art, futuristic sewer treatment plant that can treat the water to the grade level they need for all of their cooling. You know, in data storage especially, cooling is a critical issue. And you can't have spray going out because it might contain contaminants. So therefore, everything has to be contained internally. And as a matter of fact, those folks are together looking at a project now. We're all involved.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with much more with Lance Gilman after this timeout.
Before the masks, before the distancing, before the world changed, UMC was ready. Our response to COVID-19 began before the crisis did, with our own team of infectious disease experts who've spent their careers planning for this moment. With a pandemic response plan, we'd practiced again and again, and by blazing new trails in large-scale testing, including every patient we admit. Always ready. UMC.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
Hey, Dad? Are you learning? This place is great. Huh? You gotta try this.
Wow, this stuff is great. People are gonna love it.
Yes. Yes, they will.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Lance Gilman. He is the partner broker for the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. He is also the owner of the Mustang and Wild Horse brothels in Story County, which is a pretty unique position to be in. That industry obviously was completely shut down during COVID. What are your thoughts about where the business is at this point in time? Has it recovered to pre-COVID levels? Where is it?
So, you know, it's interesting, Sam, that product is in high demand. So they say if you want to be in two things during a recession, you want to be in alcohol and ladies. And I think that's absolutely true. So it was disastrous, not only for the industry, I was able to survive, but it was so hard on all of the folks that work in the industry because there is a federal law that does not allow anyone who works in the industry to have help in their employment side. So they couldn't get all of this help that was being given to everyone. And so they were without. And the ladies that are involved and have been for years, I have ladies that have been there 15 years and more. And they were severely compromised and challenged. So it's good to be back. We were kept closed for over 14 months, clear, clean, closed. And it was a huge drain on the industry and myself. Now, the good news is that once the open sign went out, yes, sir, it's back and it's to pre-COVID levels today, and wonderful industry to be in. You and I could share a lot of thoughts on that. I've been in it over 20 years, and I can tell you candidly, I'm delighted I made the choice.
All right, so you and I, as you said, have had many, many conversations. We've actually been friends for 30 years. And one of the things that you did was you designed these rooms that were luxury accommodations with the idea that at some point in the future, you were going to turn this into a resort where people could come and stay and have a fabulous experience, whether they partook of the brothel side of the business or not. How is that venture moving forward?
It's primitive, but it's in its infancy at this point. And as a matter of fact, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of couples that are coming out and staying, and there's a lot of interest in the industry. But the resort is beautiful. It's a state-of-the-art product. There's so many things I could tell you about it, but truly it is upscale. And so we have a hotel operation going out there now that is utilized by quite a lot of the construction folks that are out building. There's so much building going out. If you drive TRI, I don't know when you saw it last, but construction is everywhere. And so there's a lot of need for temporary housing, and we can fulfill that need at this point.
Yeah, I was out there a couple of months ago for Fox Nation for Laura Logan doing a story out there. And yes, construction is everywhere. You were having discussions not too long ago about expanding operations into Humboldt County. Is that still on track?
Boy, so much so. I've spent some nice time with Mayor Roy out in Fernley, and we have wonderful, exciting plans afoot. Of course, you know that we're working on the lands bill. Okay, so hang on. All right, go ahead. You're talking about a different project now. You're talking about the business park that you want to put into Fernley. So go ahead, and then we'll get to my other topic. Oh, you're talking about, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're out there on the freeway in Humboldt. That project has been on hold now for 1.5 years. I can tell you that slabs are poured, the licenses are in place. All of the lumber is sitting there and ready to move forward. And we've, because of COVID, been held up significantly. However, my son and I, Donnie, are focused directly on doing that. That project will come to pass probably mid-year next year would be my guess.
And that will tie in with the moving forward of Thacker Pass that will bring a lot of business coming to Humboldt County.
That's the intent. There's a lot of activity out there, you know, with Barrick and Newmont having that huge gold strike out there just outside of Winnemucca. That's going to be a pretty active market out there. And of course, I assume you know, but Google also has a balloon testing facility out at the airport there. So there's some nice things that could happen out in the Winnemucca area.
I did not know that. And now, is this a balloon testing facility from Google to put balloons up that will help people connect to the internet in places where the in-ground is not available?
Communication technology, yes, sir.
Okay, can you share anything more about that with us?
No, I really I don't have a real depth of information, except they're looking at how to put these stratospheric balloons in play, much like satellites, and utilize them as communication centers.
You are just full of breaking news here today. Let's take another break. We'll come back and we'll hit that lands bill in Fernley. We'll be right back.
7 at 7 is available anytime, anywhere.
I'm Riley Smith with your Vegas Golden Knights. Watch 7 minutes of nonstop news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Streaming on LVRJ.com and Twitter. Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Events Center in Las Vegas. Host meetings and events on 2 floors. Stay in luxurious rooms and suites. Unlimited branding opportunities. Regional Italian cuisine by Chef Mark Segrisi. Flexible event spaces. Full buyout options. Visit ahernhotel.com today.
I'm Jeff Gilman, an investigative reporter with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I'm your guide for Season 2 of Mobbed Up, The Fight for Las Vegas.
You're in with every gangster and hoodlum in the United States.
I don't go for that, Mr. Kennedy. I don't go for that kind of action.
I was on television accused of fronting for the mob.
Subscribe to Mobbed Up, The Fight for Las Vegas, Season 2, today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Kenny! Dad? Are you learning? This place is great. Huh? You gotta try this.
Wow, this stuff is great. People are gonna love it.
Yes. Yes, they will.
7 at 7 is available anytime, anywhere.
I'm Riley Smith with your Vegas Golden Knights. Watch 7 minutes of nonstop news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Streaming on LVRJ.com and YouTube. Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Lance Gilman. He is the partner broker of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. We started to talk about you and Roger Norman want to build a business park near Fernley, and you need a lands bill to get that accomplished. Tell us briefly where the lands bill is that Congressman Amodei is working on, but also your concerns about what's going on in Carson City.
All right, 2 things. Yes, we've purchased 7,000 acres outside of Fernley in the project area. We're looking at developing the balance of about 20,000 acres, something similar to TRI. We would be building a ring road around Fernley, relieve that traffic congestion. Congressman Amodei has been phenomenal in working on the lands bill, but also Cortez Mastos and Horsford and of course Senator Rosen. Those people have all joined together on behalf of Northern Nevada, and I can't speak enough about the sincerity and the commitment on our leadership in Washington, and they're doing a yeoman's job on representing us, and so we're very excited about that. That being said, I don't know, based upon the leadership in Carson City in a state, whether it be a county or federal, they need to have their eye on the ball when it comes to legislation and regulation. And I can tell you there's already some serious concerns going on in certain segments of the industrial side of the world. Nevada can literally invite these folks to leave our state. And although they own large blocks of land, that's not a component that would keep him here in an adverse regulatory environment. And we've already done some things in Carson City during the last year or two that have damaged our reputation and have put some impacts on various industry that could cost us dearly. And so I'm in the stream. I talk to the folks. I'm aware of what's happening, and I don't want to get into specific details, Sam, but I can tell you that the the business decisions that are being made in Carson have a direct relationship as to the success we're enjoying in Northern Nevada, and we can lose it as quickly as we got it. And I have some serious concerns along those lines.
All right, last question. We got less than a minute here. In the last governor's race, you supported Steve Sisolak. Do you have any idea who you're supporting in the governor's race to come next year?
You know, there's so much activity in the governor's race, and I'm waiting to see kind of what the primaries bring us. And so I'd like to kind of look at the playing field before I make a decision along those lines. Certainly Steve has led the state through some very difficult times. And I'm sensitive to the fact that he's had his challenges, but I'm going to prefer to wait till after the primaries and decide which way we ought to jump.
Lance Gilman, partner broker at Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, and so much more. Always a pleasure, sir. Great to see you. Great to see you looking so healthy. And
thanks for the time, Sam. I enjoy it a lot every time.
Always, my friend. And we'll be right back. Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hey, Dad? Are you learning? This place is great. Huh? You gotta try this.
Wow, this stuff is great. People are gonna love it.
Yes. Yes, they will.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Watch Nevada Newsmakers on YouTube. You can do that now these days. We'll see you on the next broadcast.